Hey team, welcome back. Super excited to see a lot of familiar faces in our group and just as equally excited to meet some of our new teachers joining us in 8th grade ELA world. Wanted to introduce myself real quick. My name is Susan Coran and I'll be the 8th grade ELA CTL for this coming school year. The past 3 years I have been the 8th grade ELA teacher at Uplift Williams and I'll be returning to the network for my 4th year as a literacy interventionist at Williams. If you have any questions along the way about anything discussed in this unit preview or just about plans in general, feel free to go ahead and reach out to me at any point via email. Now before we hop into this plan, I'm going to give you a couple moments, and if you don't have a hard copy of the plan out to annotate along as we go, I highly suggest that, just so that you can better internalize some of the things that are being discussed in this video. So if you don't have a hard copy on your desk with you right now, that's fine. Go ahead and just pause this video, and then once you're ready to resume, go ahead and click play. So up on the screen we have unit number 1 that uses the Omnivore's Dilemma, the Young Readers Edition by Michael Pollan as its anchor text. One of the reasons why I find this unit so exciting is because students are able to engage with a nonfiction text right at the beginning of the year. It also is talking about ideas of the food industry, what we're eating, where it comes from, how it affects us, that I found scholars to find extremely engaging. Now, a lot of your kiddos would have read Chew on this in 7th grade if your 7th grade teacher followed the CTL plans or units the previous year. So taking a look at maybe some of the 7th grade plans could help you have a better idea of what background information scholars will already have about this topic before you begin teaching. Now, one thing that does make this topic a little bit more difficult is just the fact that it is nonfiction and it has a lot of content-specific vocabulary that scholars will be unfamiliar with. It will be your job to pre-teach a lot of the words that students will be seeing in this text. And if you look down at the bottom of stage number 3, I've gone ahead and put in spots for a vocabulary quiz that has also been posted on Blackboard. Up on the screen now, you'll notice that I've gone ahead and highlighted the statement of inquiry. Food is a reflection of evolution, creativity, and adaptation. How has the food industry evolved over time? What creative forces have encouraged or helped in this evolution? And how has the food industry been an adaptation of culture, of society? As technology has evolved, how is that translated into the food that we eat? Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of our inquiry questions. And what you're going to notice is that these questions build upon each other and should be given in this order throughout your unit. So first we're going to start off with our factual questions. These are more basic recall questions that students should be able to answer without a lot of confusion at the end of the text. Some of these questions are, why did Michael Pollan write the Omnivore's Dilemma? Something that you'll be seeing in lesson number 1. What is the Omnivore's Dilemma? Something again in lesson number 1. And what is Michael Pollan's opinion of GMOs and agribusinesses? Again, these are all going to be at the very beginning of the book and things that students should be able to answer without significant challenge. Then we are going to be able to see some of these conceptual questions. These ones will be a little bit more challenging for scholars to answer. Some of these examples are, how has what people eat changed over time? How does our culture impact what we eat? Or how does our location affect our eating habit? Again, these are things that scholars should be able to figure out from the book, but will take a little bit more energy and will be a little bit more challenging. And again, outside knowledge should be taking a bigger part in these conceptual questions than the factual. Last but not least, we're going to hop into these debatable questions. Number 1, is it just for the government to subsidize? And number 2, when presented with facts, will people always change? Now, these questions specifically, scholars can use the book to get evidence for, but that should not be the only place that scholars are gathering evidence for their debatable questions. Now, there will be no straight yes or no answer presented within the book that scholars can just immediately pull and say, I found it. Instead, they're going to have to be using their background knowledge, things that they've already collected from various articles and videos that you've watched in conjunction with this book in order to form a more sophisticated and holistic answer to the question. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at stage 2 of the unit plan, the performance assessment. The performance assessment is going to be a debate where, if you look right here where it says goals, scholars will research, prepare, and debate their classmates on a controversial topic discussed in the Omnivore's Dilemma. Now all the materials you will need to be successful for this project will be found on Blackboard under unit number 1, including a student deliverable, which will hopefully be a little bit easier to understand than just this assessment written out like this. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look at that student deliverable for the final performance test. Again, this is going to be on Blackboard under unit number 1. Now if you look down at the bottom of page number 1, it goes ahead and gives out the deadlines. If you're looking at your unit plan right now, that is also on stage 3 down at the bottom of the plan. I've gone ahead and given your kiddos 3 days to complete this project, with the first 2 days being work time in class, as well as then the last day, the third day, as presentations. If you are unable to spend 3 full days on this project, that's totally fine. I still highly suggest that you spend at least 1 full day as a work day, and then 1 full day as presentations, because the oral component of this project truly is just as important as the written. Alrighty, we're back on stage number 2 of the plan, so I'm back on the unit plan, and I wanted to go ahead and take a moment and talk about the rubric. Now the rubric has some IB language that might be a little bit more confusing to students, so I just wanted to clarify specifically what I'm going to be looking for as I'm explaining this project to scholars. So, the ideal student should provide perceptive identification and explanation of content in context. So I should be able to see exactly what students are arguing and why. Last but not least, they should have a detailed justification with a wide range of examples and use accurate terminology. So that means that I should see that students are using examples not only from the book, but also from the articles, videos watched in conjunction with the book. Any outside research is cited, and I'm seeing that they're holistically taking a look at the topic that they have been assigned. Last but not least, we're taking a look at their using language, and this is they are effectively using a wide range of vocabulary words within their debate. Last but not least, I'm seeing consistently appropriate register and style. So that means that we're training our students that when they go up in front of a group, they're not talking like this and being robots, but instead their inflection is appropriate, and that they're carrying themselves in a manner of presentation, and they're open to the class, they're standing viewing their peers, and everyone can hear them when they're talking. We're now on stage 3, the backwards planning portion of this plan, and I want us to go ahead and scroll on down or take a look right here where it says resources. Now these are all the resources that are going to be talked about in this plan, including the Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan as our anchor text. Before we jump on in though, I want to be really clear about what I'm talking about when I bring up this book. So I'm going to open up my Amazon right now, and when I'm mentioning the Omnivore's Dilemma, I'm talking about this version right here from 2015. What you will also notice is that there was a 1994 edition of the book. The cover looks like this. Now, if you are following along with my plan, this is important because all of the page numbers that I'm referencing are from this version, the 2015. If you have a copy of the 1994, while the content is very similar between the books, the page numbers will not line up. So, if you are following along with my plan, please make sure that you have a copy of this book, the 2015, in order to make sure that we're at the same spot. And back to the plan. Other resources that are going to be used are excerpts from The Jungle, clips from the documentary Food Inc., food and junk food advertisements, various articles from the Food and Society text set on Newsela, as well as specific TED Talks that will be referenced throughout the plan. Now, when looking at this backwards planning section, some things that are very important to notice are over here in this very first column where it has the day numbers, also has the text. So what you should be able to see is exactly what scholars will be engaging with each and every day, including the page numbers, which is super important once we start reading. Now, if you are wanting to deviate away from reading the Omnivore's Dilemma, that's totally fine. I highly suggest you still follow along with the same arc of learning that is talked about right here in the learning objectives. What you'll notice is that we start off with main idea and prediction. We are then going to go ahead and focus on summarization, evidence, writing a paragraph, author's purpose, and then all the way down to evaluating evidence before the creation of their own debate. So what you'll notice is that each one of these lessons will build upon each other in skill. So even if you are deciding to deviate away from the Omnivore's Dilemma, please make sure you're still following a very similar learning objective arc, so that way the skills that the students are learning are building upon each other as well. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning of stage number 2, I have 3 days set for the performance task. Again, if you want to go ahead and manipulate that to whatever you need, that is totally fine. The last thing I want to go ahead and talk about within this is on day number 7, the mastery quiz. Now, mastery quizzes are important because you're able to then gauge where students are in the middle of your unit, so that way when you get to the very end, if students have not fully understood something, it's not being addressed a month and a half later. Alrighty, this has been unit number 1, the omnivore's dilemma. Again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me via email. Looking forward to see all of you at Collaboration Day Kickoff on August 1st. Bye!